G'day, it's Dedadon here, and welcome back to Day 7 of the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. Drake Interplanetary is our feature today. Now, they are well known for having a sort of shady past making pirate ships. Well, not so much making pirate ships, but more the fact that their ships are cheap and generally have high firepower for their size, that people tend to associate them with making pirate ships. Not helped, of course, by the devs basically encouraging that rumor by basically all interceptions and that going on with AI right now are pretty much always in Drake ships. But anyway, let's go take a look at what's on display. We kick things off with the Drake Buccaneer. This is basically the Drake version of a fighter ship. It's about the same size as the Gladius, similar price as well. However, it has way more firepower as a result. It's also a little bit quicker, a bit more agile, I believe. It doesn't have an ejector seat though. So, not that ejector seats are very useful right now, because ships just pop long before you'd actually have the ability to use one anyway. But yes, that is one of the trade-offs it supposedly has, is they're saving a little bit on costs. It's less durable and such, but it has a lot of punch. So you see a lot of NPC ones of these flying around at the moment, but in the hands of a good player, they are also very powerful. Plus, they have this very cool, like, sort of vulture look with those wings, which I really quite like. Next up, we have the Drake Herald. This is the data running communication ship, as fast and light communications don't exist in Star Citizen. These ships would be the ones to take urgent courier messages between star systems, at least that's the theory. Has a tiny little interior, it's a one-seater ship, and yeah, it's basically dominated by the fact that it has these absolutely gigantic twin engines at the back. Like, that's basically all this ship is a cockpit with two huge engines stuck on the back of it. Yeah. They're pretty cool. Unfortunately, it's not as fast as it should be in game. I mean, it accelerates incredibly fast, which is nice. It does, however, I feel, need to be a little bit quicker in Quantum, because at the moment, other ships can beat it. But yeah, it does look cool. And that's pretty much part of what Drake ships are about, aren't they? Now, of course, you can't talk about Drake Interplanetary and not talk about the Dragonfly. These are the two-seat hover bikes that they introduced a while ago, and they are actually the smallest two-seater you can get. Of course, if you want two people otherwise, you need something like the Cyclone, which is a hell of a lot bigger. Now, these have some issues at the moment. They're supposed to have like a more compact landing mode that they don't actually have implemented right now. But yes, you've got this sort of black skin version, which is the default. You got the yellow, which is the yellow jacket, I believe it's called. Looks a bit kind of cool, I reckon, in the high vis. And then you've got the basically Hello Kitty, Star Kitten, whatever they call it version, which was some unique skin they had for a while. I don't know if it's still available. Not one I would use, but it's certainly a bit interesting to see a vehicle in hot pink. Perhaps the ship most Star Citizen players will recognise, and definitely one of the most highly rated, you have the Cutlass series, the black being the only one currently visible and flyable in the game. Now this is, well, it is a multi-role ship, much like the Freelancer. However, being a Drake ship, it has a lot more focus on firepower and guns. It has quite the usable cargo capacity. It has opening side doors as well as a rear ramp, which has some fun mechanics you can do with that. Has the turret on the top and these huge gimbaling engines. So yes, it is quite the fun ship to fly. Very good at doing all sorts of things, and I would definitely recommend, if you want to have a good all-rounder ship that's a little bit bigger than, say, your Avenger or what, you might want to go with one of these. Just be careful about people who might think you're pirates, because again, this ship gets used a lot by NPC pirates right now, and probably player pirates too, it's hard to really say. Finally today on the show floor, we have the Caterpillar, which is at the moment the largest cargo ship that you can fly in the game. And it's supposed to be modular in the final design, like there's these 5 pods you could swap out. However, at the moment you can't actually do that, which is a shame, but they're all cargo. It does have a very nice interior, it's reasonably durable, and it's certainly very distinctive looking. But for me, my favourite part about the Caterpillar, aside from all the side opening doors, which don't actually go down to the floor yet, which is a problem, is this separate command pod. You see, you fly offset from the side here, which is its own independent little ship. The idea being you could jettison or detach from the main bulk of the vessel if, say, swapping a cargo run or if in an emergency situation. You can't do that at the moment, unfortunately, but you will be able to do that in future. And that little command pod on its own is, in my opinion, one of the coolest looking ships in game. So that's kind of nice. And then let's just ignore the fact that there's a bug here that's just showing all the exposed interior and some weird textures. You can see there's that's some lettering going on and some signage. So yes, I think there's some bugs that they need to fix, but apparently Drake didn't want to try and fix them before the expo. And you've also got it lifting one of its gear there. I'm not entirely sure why. Maybe it's hot. So that's it for today. Fairly small one compared to yesterday's, but then again, Drake doesn't have quite as many flyable ships in game right now. Notable ones to mention are, of course, the Corsair, which is the exploration model that is not present here. You have the Cutlass Red and Blue variants that also aren't here. They were made, but they are of the older model, and the new model isn't available yet in game, so they're not on display as flyable. And then, of course, you have the announcement they made today for the Drake Kraken, which is the sort of aircraft carrier thing. Only now they do the privateer version, which has, instead of some cargo, something like 10 shops inside it. So it is a competitor to the Banu Merchantman in that regard. But yes, I'm sure that will be nice to see in future. But until then, I'm Denadon, this is Star Citizen, safe landings.